Yeah, let's do this. Man, I'm way late to the game, but it is all good. It's all good because I'm glad to be here and I'm glad to be on live. So, all right, people. The topic of discussion: heaven, hell, salvation, and the afterlife. Just things that I've been questioning and wondering about recently and diving deep into and what's the word I'm looking for? Deconstructing it all. So, been talked about it. That was the last video on my channel talking about this topic, this subject. But now, want to chat about it. I seem to be getting some pretty good feedback on the videos that, or the video that I made, but videos, because I realized I could have done a series with this because the first video on faith and the journey of faith, and also the video that I just did on salvation could have been a part of a series, but they just were two different things. So anyway, if you guys watch those videos, if you like those videos, just wanted to chat about it, wanted to have a discussion about it and your all's thoughts and what you think, because I got plenty more than what I did in the video. All right, here we go. Loud Creator 328. Why do you talk about this stuff if you aren't Christian? Why not talk about this stuff? Obviously, my aim for search in all of this is truth. So even though I know I don't believe in it at this moment, if there's truth to it, and if it is true, like I say heaven, hell, and the afterlife in the title, because I'm like, maybe heaven and hell doesn't exist, but the afterlife does. So I think it needs to be talked about, because I think if you are searching for truth as I am, then you have to be open to possibilities. And like I just had this discussion with my dad the other night, is that I'm like, everything's open out on the table now. I'm just looking for what's true and what's not, and what's real and what's false. So like everything's out on the table. So I wouldn't be doing myself any favors if I were to completely get rid of Christianity or religion, as well as get rid of atheism. So yeah, that's why I like to talk about it. And because I think it's important, because it doesn't just affect me, but it affects a lot of other people in the world. And so I think that, even in discussing the philosophy of religion, if we talk about it and get to the bottom of it, then we could possibly stop wars. So I think it's still important to talk about. All right, quick thought. Salvation isn't a legal debt. Salvation is healing and giving of wholeness. Okay? Hell is not a place of punishment. It's like what prison should be, a place to be healed. That is interesting theology, Jordan. I like that thought. Where did you start developing that thought, that mindset? What up, Shaler? Glad you're here. Blackbird's Wrath. What's going on, man? What up? Glad you're doing this video. I was having a discussion with a Christian friend of mine the other day on salvation. We agreed to disagree. What was the disagreement on? Just out of curiosity. Did you watch my video on salvation? Wondering what your thoughts on that were. Master Fisherman, hello, hi. Joshua, hi. I'd love to stay on longer, but I think the evangelical views of hell and salvation are way off course. Stay on longer. Oh, so you can't be on live too long. But I think the evangelical views of hell and salvation are way off course. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Just looking at the Bible and what it says, it's way off course. The Bible seems to teach that all shall be saved, reach wholeness. Universalism. Yep, for sure. What up, man? Big Mac and fries. What up? Hey, bro, what up? Being open-minded is awesome. Nobody knows what is waiting for us. It's true. It is true. But so much of life, so many people in life, are affected by this. So I do think if I'm not just living because I don't just want to live for myself, I think everyone's purpose has nothing to do, it has everything to do with who you are, but being a gift to the world and to other people. So even though I have my own views and my own beliefs, I'm not going to let that distract me from the larger picture at hand. So say God isn't real and none of this is real, then obviously if we talk about these subjects and get to the truth of the matter, then everybody can come into that belief of truth and in the end live according to truth, which would just cause happiness So that's why we need to have these discussions. Joshua, you're a champion, man. Thanks for that super, what's it called? The super button. Lamentations 3 is where I got it from. One sec, I'll find the verse. I checked your video out and your thoughts were what I was trying to communicate to him. Of course, he believes in the first interpretation you mentioned. Yeah, I mean, that's traditional Christianity. Traditional Christianity believes in that first interpretation of Scripture, and there's some serious issues with that. So I'm going to dim that down because this light is crazy. Salvation comes from the heart for the soul to open the grace in us God gave us for free will. Kate and Tyler, is this Kate and Tyler, like Kate and Tyler that I know personally, or is this a different Kate and Tyler? Salvation comes from the heart for the soul. Salvation comes from the heart. I guess there's supposed to be a comma. For the soul to open the grace in us God gave us. That God gave us for free will? No. Okay, it's not. My bad. I think I understand what you're saying, but I'm not quite sure. What are your thoughts on the universalist theory? Honestly, the more I study about heaven and hell and salvation, universalist theory, it doesn't just begin to make sense the more that I look into it. But when you think about the character and person of what the Bible says God is, or I guess more specifically the New Testament, saying that God is a God of love. So my question is, if there's a God of love who gave us free will, then wouldn't we still have a choice even in the afterlife? Like, say you were a complete atheist, didn't believe in anything, you die and you see the truth, hypothetically speaking. So if that's the case, why would God just say, well, you died, so I'm taking your free will away, and now you can't choose me. Now you can't, you see the truth, but now you can't choose it. That just doesn't make any sense to me. And so by that, I mean, the reality is too, even if some atheists out there, and I think it's a lot of pride involved, but even if some atheists objectively experienced God, that still doesn't mean that they would follow him. That still doesn't mean that they would choose to let him help in any way, I guess. I don't know. But where was I going with that thought? Totally went blank. I even forgot the question I was trying to answer. Anyway. Oh, universalist theory. Right. So by that stand, it's like, yes, everybody will be shown the truth, hypothetically speaking, biblically speaking, even theologically speaking. At some point, everybody will be shown the truth. And if that is the truth, like the Bible, again, I'm talking biblically here, so keep that in mind. And then once shown the truth, they'll have a choice to make. Now, I don't think even if they choose not to, that's the end all. Like, mercy triumphs over judgment, but and that's in James. I mean, that's in the Bible. Mercy triumphs over judgment. That's another verse in the Bible. So it's interesting to me that Christians or the church often see salvation as the one time where judgment triumphs over mercy. And I'm like, I don't think so. For no one is cast off by the Lord forever. Though he brings grief, he will show compassion. So great is his unfailing love, for he does not willingly bring affliction. All right. This is good stuff. So would you say, Jordan, that you're more towards a universalist theory of that sort of thing, heaven, hell, all that? For no one is cast off. Okay. My mom thinks you have to say those magic words right before you. Yeah, that's what a lot of people think. Hey, and I mean, maybe it works. I don't know. Yeah. Your theology is literally better than most pastors. I try, man. Look, there's just a lot of things that don't make sense to me, but the more that I read scriptures and study philosophy and put the two together, it just, I don't know, man. It just makes sense. But yeah, I am 99% sure I'm universalist now. Yeah. Yeah, man. So I have not looked in, like, I mean, I've looked into annihilationism, and now I guess not in depth look into annihilationism, but annihilationism is funny for me because it's like God is only loving to a point. Like he's like the Bible says he's love, but then annihilationism insinuates, oh, he's all love. Well, he's kind of all love. He's 95% love, and then that one time he's going to be what everybody imagined him and said he was in the Old Testament and all of that. And so he's going to go back to that abusive father and killing everybody that doesn't, what, I mean, he just goes back to that. So I'm like, what do you, your theology doesn't make any sense. It doesn't, the math doesn't work. I think if you're living for God but actually sin right before death, you're probably fine. Yeah, sure. I got to hop off. I got work tomorrow. I need to rest. Got very, oh man. Stream goes well, man. Love, peace, and family. Thanks, dude. Thanks, Josh. Joshua. I don't know if people call you Josh, but call you Joshua. Thanks, man. Well, have a good one, and I'll see you later. Peace out. This is completely off topic, but I have been meaning to ask you this. Do you believe that everything happens for a reason? I think if you believe everything happens for a reason, then everything will happen for a reason. And I don't know if I think that everything happens for a reason more than I think that the things that life throws at me, like the opportunities or the problems, relationships, whatever it may be, that whatever life throws at me, whatever comes my way, it is always an opportunity for me to learn a lesson from that. And I can see that lesson in patterns in my life. Like there's all sorts of patterns in my life where I can easily see, oh, I could have learned this lesson here, and here. So this must be happening for a reason, and you can get an idea for there might be God from that, or you can just say it's fate or whatever. I don't know. I mean, yes, I think the lessons that we learn in life, not that they happen for a reason, but I just look back at what I believe the purpose of life is, and it has nothing to do with what we do, but it has everything to do with who you are. And so I think that in life will throw at us, and this is just how it is, whether you believe in God or not, whether you believe there's a higher power or not. But it's like the things that life throws at us, we will learn lessons from that, despite what you believe, and we will have the choice to learn lessons from that. And we can definitely see a reason in that because it helps us and it helps the people around us. Now, does everything happen for a reason? You can say yes. It can be no. But if you hold to the idea, if you hold your purpose in mind, basically, where I think, like I said, I think your purpose is not what you do, but it's who you are. So in that regard, sure. I mean, everything could happen for a reason to better who you are, or you could just look at it as life, the things that life throws at you, you have a decision of what you do with it and what you don't with it. And you can either choose to be a better person for yourself and be a gift to the world, or you can choose to be completely selfish and not do anything about it. And those are the people that usually say nothing happens for a reason. This is all pointless. La da 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 da. So you can, so it's both and. But so yes, things happen for a reason, but at the same time, life happens. And as long as you just have your purpose in mind, which is bettering yourself, bettering who you are, because your purpose is who you are. If you just have that in mind, then you're golden. You're good. That's what I think. Sorry. All right. I hope that answered that question. That was kind of a long answer, but to be fair to annihilationism, I think the logic is this: God is life, and those who continue to refuse him separate themselves from him, and to be separate from life is to die. Yeah. I mean, I also think that hell, I theologically speaking, I question hell's existence because hell's existence, I think it might be all up here. If you say you aren't Christian, are you scared to go to hell, or have you thought about it, or do you believe you won't go to hell? Well, the more that this is this is the reason for studying it, right? Is it's like, hell might not exist. So then why would I be scared of hell? But at the same time, heaven might not exist. So what the hell, pun intended, kind of, happens when you die? I mean, the Cosmic Skeptic. I don't know if you guys have watched his YouTube channel. Some great content there. He's scared of hell. He's scared of damnation, and he's an atheist. And that's just because growing up in a religious home does that to you. So, I've thought a lot about it, and I've had even some panic attacks because of going deep down that rabbit hole. Yeah, man. So I don't, and this is, to me, these topics, these things right here are important. So even though I don't believe it, if it's truth, which is that's what I'm going for. I want to know the truth. I just want to know truth. And I guess this is Christianity. I grew up a pastor's kid. I've lived my life as Christian up until I was 22 years old. And so it's like, I think this is a good starting base. Like, decide if this is true or not true, because if it is true, then cool. The first 22 years wasn't a total waste. Not that it was a waste at all, but just believing a lie, if it is a lie, that kind of thing. And if it is a lie, then I need to expose that lie, not for everyone else, but for me, and so I can move on to what is true. So, what you think is what you see, or what you take is what you give. Yeah, that's what I would say. So the annihilationists would say God doesn't kill them, but he does let them die. Yeah, but I don't know. See, you can make that argument there of like, but if he lets them die because he can stop them, is he really not killing them? Yeah. Karma, you okay? Yeah, I'm good. What up, dude? First name, last name. What's going on? I didn't grow up in a religious household, family, never talked about religion. Pretty sure both parents are atheists, but I was scared of hell when I was atheist too. Yeah, and most people are. And, and that's why I think this topic of conversation is so important. The conversation for atheist, theist, agnostic, skeptic, whatever, is because there is that fear of religion. There's that fear that religion instills in us, these ideas of, these places that may or may not exist. But, I, for myself, have had like panic attacks thinking about these things, but they might not even, like, why would I have a panic attack about something that isn't even real? And that's not me saying that, yes, I had a panic attack about it, and so it must be real. That's me saying, it's like my mind, there's like this mindset that is so set in stone that's come from religious thinking, that it's like, I fear damnation. I fear this and that. It's like, it's just such an important topic of conversation to talk about, whether you believe in God or not, because it affects even the people who don't believe in God. So it's a topic that's very much needed to be talked about. I think it's, honestly, you guys can argue with me about this, that it's a theological topic. I think it's more of a philosophical topic, but that's besides the point. That's something else. So basically all that to say, I think it's still an important topic of conversation, whether you're atheist, theist, whatever. What up, Eric? How's it going, man? I think regardless of whether or not God, heaven, hell is real, it doesn't hurt to follow it somewhat. I think Christianity has a lot of good values. Hey, I've talked about this. That. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Anyway, so Antonio, are you atheist now, or are you Christian, or what? Um, yeah, I think Christianity does have some really good principles to live life by, but I don't think, there's still a lot of, there's still a lot of damage, control to be done though. Kate is agnostic and I'm not religious, but I know there is a creator of these worlds. Interesting. Okay. So would you say you're more spiritual? You should dive deeper into the second interpretation. What does it mean to truly live in the imitation of Jesus? I think it is interesting that Buddha also referred to himself as the way, the truth, and the life. Yeah, that's really interesting. See, I didn't know that Buddha referred to himself in that way. Why did you change your mind? Yeah, no, I'm all like, I read the life of Jesus. Heck, even I haven't looked. I don't know the life of Buddha as well as I know the life of Jesus, but I'm saying Jesus, from what I know, it wouldn't hurt if the world tried to be more like him. My thoughts. I'm looking for. Oh, that was. Okay, he's not on live right now. This is random, but what if Buddha was the first visit from Jesus? I think some people think that. I think some people are on board with that thinking. So I opened myself up and felt connected to God. I don't entirely remember the reason. I was in the middle of a really depressed state, but that wasn't the reasoning. Interesting. What if Buddha was the first visit from Jesus? I feel like when Buddha was here, did he, or his name's not Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, right? Am I just making that up? I don't think so, but when he was here, was Christianity a thing yet? I need to look at the historical dates on that. Agreed. I think that was Jesus's message, live as he did. I honestly am starting to think Paul corrupted his message. Interesting. Well, I think Paul definitely had a different interpretation. But the interesting thing is that Paul is said to be the writer of the gospel, like his gospel message, which is super weird to me. I've heard that weird theology before, that like Paul is the writer of the gospel, or God entrusted him to be that. But if that's the case, I don't know. The Bible would say it, and it would contradict if Buddha was a first visit. Yeah, I don't think Buddha did. Buddha was more of the type of guy to tell people he was only a man and told people not to pray to him and whatnot. But I haven't read the whole. Yeah, I do want to read that book. I don't know much about Buddha, but apparently he came before Christianity. Yeah, I've been wanting to research a lot more into Buddha and into New Age and into. I looked into Hinduism a little bit. Yo, that that shit's real confusing. I was getting so lost. I'm like, I mean, you can just make up a god for anything that you want. And I'm like, I don't know about this. All religions at its core is love. This is my reasoning with me not being religious. I would say spirituality at its core is love. Religions at its core is division, destruction, hate, and all other negative things that you can imagine. And if that's not the case, then tell me why there have been so many wars started because of religion. Made it home safe. Nice. I'll comment more in a few minutes. Always join while driving. All good, man. The message, I mean. I think the message of spirituality is what you're talking about. I need to make a video or something on the difference between religion and spirituality. (400 BC), and the events happened even before that. So yeah, pretty old. Yeah, I guess I am confused. Kind of a slow night on live, huh? It's all good. I like the conversation. I like, I've been naming these lives by name instead of just leaving them AMA because I seem to weed out a lot of the trolls. So, but it slows down when that doesn't happen. I just found it odd how Paul was persecuted for Christianity before his conversion. I think was a persecutor. Yeah. I think he knew he had a better chance of destroying Christianity from within, and his conversion was a lie. That would only be the case if the story of the road to Damascus is a complete hoax and a complete lie. Saying that, I mean, that's obviously a conversation in itself. But, his conversion was a externally objective experience. And that's why he converted. It wasn't just a change of mindset, but it was an actual, like, he saw Jesus. And so I think that theory would only work out if that story was complete bull. And he made it up. The Bible says the definition of a religious person is someone who tells people to follow things he can't keep. Like if I was a liar and told you not to lie because it's a sin. Yeah. What verse are you referring to when you say that? Did you look? Oh wait, I missed this. Did you look at other religions before becoming entirely atheist? Well, I'm not entirely atheist. I mean, by definition, I guess I am. I came to this conclusion yesterday. That I guess technically speaking, by definition, because atheist is someone who does not believe in God. But typically atheists, they don't believe in God, but they're no longer searching for God to see if he's real or if he exists. They kind of have their mind made up. And so for me, I guess, yeah, I don't believe in God. So I guess that's the definition of an atheist. But the difference with me is I think there's a possibility of something more. And so I'm searching for it. And if that's God, then it's God. So, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm entirely atheist or agnostic or God believing or, so. Why question our existence if we will never find out why we exist? Why we believe we were created if we will never know for sure? So many people are living in that fantasy world, but that's just my 2 cents. So why question our existence if we will never find out why we exist? What? Never find out why we exist? Why? I don't even understand that question. Why believe we were created if we will never know for sure? I mean, I guess to that question, I guess plenty of people believe because it could be the case. And so it feels so much like it could be the case that they just say, okay, I believe it. So many people are living that in a fantasy world. Yeah, I'd agree. A lot of people are living in a fantasy world for sure. Agree with that one. I guess I don't understand that first question. Why question our existence if we will never find out why we exist? Because I feel like the reason why we exist. Okay, so I guess there's a difference between finding out the reason I exist and finding out the reason we exist. Like the world and why there's human beings. Yeah, I don't, no idea. Paul was also a Jewish rabbi before his conversion, and his teachings are nowhere near Judaic. But yeah. Holla from Kentucky. Eric, what up, man? I'm going to have to go back and reread this story. I just think mainstream Christianity is following Paul and not Jesus, and to me, that's a problem. I agree. Bias. Isaac Johnson, what's up, man? I wouldn't say you're atheist. You don't believe that God doesn't exist or that he does. Yeah. Well, yeah. See, I'm like, I don't know. So, yeah, I don't know. Why did the wars start between Jews and wars? Gotcha. Why did the war start between Jews and Muslims? I know religion had a big part of it, but I don't know what started it. Religion started it. Who was right and who was wrong? Amongst many other things, but the way I understand it is atheists believe that God doesn't exist. Like they don't admit that they don't know. Yeah. I guess that's like a hard atheist. And yeah, that's not me. Better late than never, Paige. What's going on? Hello. Glad you're here. Now it's picking up a little bit. Do you think that the honest and sincere people are the loneliest people in today's society? Probably. And it's because pain shows you value. I think there's something about pain that obviously nobody likes pain, but I think pain is a gift. I think pain is seen as such a negative emotion. Pain is seen as such a negative thing, and loneliness too. I mean, loneliness. There's pain and loneliness, but pain in general, I think, is a gift for that reason. Like the amount of things that you value they basically skyrocket when you feel pain. Pain is one of those things that when you feel it, like I noticed this the other day with depression. Like it was probably a week. No, I forget when it was, but it was a day where I was not feeling it. I was pretty depressed, but I noticed something about it, and it was in that moment that I noticed. I was like, I'm listening to music right now. This is super weird, so hang in there with me. But this is just, I had a moment. Okay, so I was listening to music and I was like, I appreciate music right now. Like I appreciate life right now. Like obviously where I'm at kind of sucks, but I'm like, there's something about this pain that is beautiful to where I see things that I'd forgotten. It's like happiness, the fake, like I think joy is reality. Like people that experience like true solid joy, I think joy is real. I think happiness is a mask. That's a different discussion. But I think the people that feel happy often forget the things, the true, the little values in life. But when you're in pain, you see those things again. And so I know I'm going kind of off topic from what you're talking about with the loneliest people in society being the most sincere, but kind of not off topic, actually not off topic at all, because it's those people that, the loneliest people. I mean, actually, one of my song that I listen to, the opening lyrics in the song is, I'm alone, but I'm not lonely. And I think it's that right there, that it's like those people, and I mean, I've felt that before, it's like appreciate pain. As weird as that is, having an appreciation for pain, having an appreciation for the hard times in life, because it raises so much value. And so that's why I think there's this huge tension between joy and pain. And I mean, it can even get into the said like law of polarity, that like if there wasn't good and bad, then we wouldn't experience anything. And you have to have both joy and pain in order to experience everything. Because if there was just pain, you wouldn't know what joy was. You wouldn't know what pain was. And if there was just joy and you were happy all the time, happiness wouldn't even be a concept. And so, there's that too. And so I think when you're in a joyful time and then you go into a painful time, you grow so much and see value for things that you never thought you would. And I think it's a very important lesson to learn. So I know that didn't necessarily answer your question, or I just kind of went off on a rant, but there you go. Did you ever check out Jordan Peterson's thoughts on Genesis? I have not. I do want to do that. He does a whole series of lectures over the Bible that are super interesting. Oh my God, I had no idea. Where are these videos? Jordan Peterson, Genesis. All right. Look that up later. What were they trying to fight about? I have no idea. I haven't looked into it. The main reason why the wars between Muslims and Christians were for political reasons, but history has painted it as a religious thing. At the time, you had control over Jerusalem, who had, yeah. Alex H, you know what's up. It can be said that a lot of things can be disproved, and it can be said that a lot of things can be disproved in some respect. But one aspect that shoots down God, as is presented by Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, is the omnipotence paradox. The omnipotence paradox is, it doesn't work. I've looked into that paradox, and it's the video that explains it the best that I watched, that completely ripped it to shreds, is Inspiring Philosophy's video, where he debunks the omnipotence paradox. And I was like, okay, that settles it for me. His logic in that video, that completely shoots down that paradox, is pretty damn good. Cassandra, damn it. I always had this difficulty, I know. Cassandra, hello, welcome. Glad you're here. You've been missed. Isaac, I believe that religious intolerance is caused by extreme individuals that practice these religions, not the religion itself. For example, both Christians and Muslims believe in peace. I agree with Blackbird. You should listen to Dear God by, yeah, I'm going to get my dad to react to that. I already watched that video. Sup, Pedro? What's going on, man? Mind linking it for the lazy? I ought to check it out, man. All right. Hold on just a moment, peoples. All right, here we go.
Some non-theists argue the...
Nope, don't play it because I'll get a freaking strike on this thing. All right, here's the debunking omnipotence paradox thing. Yeah, Dax. Is it possible that being consistently Is it possible that being consistently happy could be more detrimental than being consistently depressed or upset? I think so. Obviously, like I said, like without opposites, there would be no such thing as experience. It's because of opposites that we can experience things. So I think if you are is the glass half full or half empty? Is life full of pain and has pockets of joy, or is life full of joy and has pockets of pain? It's how you see things. But yes to that statement. I see it as depression. I see it as depression almost forces you to be better, while happiness creates stagnance. Yes, totally and completely agree with that statement. Absolutely, 100%. That's the paradox that says something like, if God is perfect, then why evil exists? No, that's the Epicurean paradox. The omnipotence paradox is, if God is all powerful, can he create a rock that even he can't lift? Because if he can't lift it, then he is not all powerful. And if he can't create it, then he's not all powerful. So yeah. Why do you look like Jesus? I don't know. That's cool. I have a feel if I cut my hair, I mean, it's interesting that you say that when my hair is up, because I have long hair. But if I cut my hair, I don't know how many people would say that. I don't know. I used to get told I looked like every movie star actor a lot when my hair was short. So that was cool. Those were the days. Now I don't believe in God, and everybody tells me I look like Jesus. It's great. Okay. I'm going to watch the omnipotence thing after this. But what's omniscience? Omniscience. Did I say omniscience? Finally, I'm not working and able to see you live. Well, finally, and finally you're here. Do you believe in enlightenment? Yeah. Yeah, I think I do. I haven't looked a lot into it. And I think enlightenment, unless I am missing something, missing a more specific definition, I think the term enlightenment is very general. But I do understand the concept of being enlightened to a point of you're basically on a high, of like you have been enlightened, you get life, you understand life. And you can correct me if I'm wrong in that, but yeah, I do think there is a point of enlightenment, but I don't necessarily see enlightenment as just like we were talking about, being crazy joyful and happy and knowing everything about life all the time. I think enlightenment can be quite the opposite, and it can break people. So like I said, I think so. Maybe I guess I have my own thoughts on it. But yeah, I think enlightenment is a very general term. But correct me if I'm wrong, if it's more specific. Like I know there is more specificness to it. But yeah, I think I think of it as a very generalized statement, concept. Don't cut your beard or we won't know who you are. I trimmed it today and my face gets smaller when I trim it. If I cut it off, you guys would be like, who is this 15-year-old dude on this guy's, like, one day, you guys just watch. Like one day I'm going to cut the beard and I'm going to like shave my head and you guys are going to be like, who took over your channel? Where did this dude go? So yeah, by a simple view that sounds more like a joke setup or tricky question instead of something worth thinking. Wait, what? By a simple view that sounds more like a joke setup or a tricky question instead of something worth thinking into. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Inspiring Philosophy also has a video on some omniscience paradox. I have no idea, but his stuff is pretty legit, so watch it. Random question: what is your take on tarot card reading, mediums, etc.? I haven't looked a whole lot into it, so I really can't give my opinion on that. I know tarot cards have something to do with astronomy. I think. I honestly don't know. But I have heard of tarot cards mentioned when talking about astronomy. So yeah, I don't know what I think about all of it. And tarot cards, at least. Mediums, yeah, I don't know, because it can be arguable. It's arguable, I guess I should say, that there are Christian mediums. So it's like, but they wouldn't call themselves that. They would call themselves mystics. And so it's like, but they're very similar, so what does mediums even mean? So I haven't really looked into it, so I can't give my full opinion on it, saying what I really think, because I don't know what I really think. This is probably the result of Drank screwing with me, but just because I can't take Abrahamic religion seriously, I always joke that hell is like how I described it half a dozen chats ago. Oh, with the oh my God, is this you talking about the farm? That was funny stuff. I think you got it right. To me, enlightenment is it's not with self-actualization. Yeah. Yo, what up? What are we pretending we Dude, that is the best, man. What are we pretending we know today? We are pretending we know what exactly happens in the afterlife. Dude, that is dude, God, man, I just appreciate when you come on these lives, man. Love it. What up? What are we pretending to know today? Dude, this is the best. All right, Nate, Nate would shave himself and then make a video about it and say, "You think I've changed? This isn't even my final form." Yep. I'm a reptilian. No. Philosophy bitch, Breaking Bad. Yep. A comment from, dude, if that's a Breaking Bad joke, I'm so sorry. I haven't watched Breaking Bad. I know that's like a cardinal sin. I really need to watch that show. The heavy rock paradox. Oh. Yeah, no, I agree with that page. Put that on a shirt. Yeah. No, for real. Oh my God. Yo, the philosophical misfit t-shirts. That should be on it. What are we pretending we know today? I'm gonna make t-shirts, y'all. Inspired by Demame. What's the crazy conspiracy theory you've heard about religion that could actually be true? About religion in general, or like inside religion, some sort of like theory? I mean, if you guys have watched The Family on Netflix, that's a pretty interesting conspiracy theory. So since you agreed to play Striking Vipers with me, did you want to be the Asian girl or guy? We're gonna have a great Oh man, yo. Honestly, dude, I can never it's just dude, I love it, man. I love it. I love it. No, I'd be the dude. It's so weird. Oh, Black Mirror, man. Damn it. All right. We pretend that the politicians concern themselves with anyone that doesn't throw a gazillion dollars at them. But there's 1,000 channels that do that. We're tackling the real issues here. Hey, man, that's what I think. No. So I'm glad you're with me. Have you listened to the songs I sent you? Yes, I did listen to the songs you sent me. I was not expecting them to be like tough guy rap. I dug it a lot. It was good stuff. Craziest in just religion in general. I don't know, man. I mean, every conspiracy theory has eventually become a theology, and every small little thought has been turned into dogma. This is the problem with religion, man. It's like, what's conspiracy theory and what's theology? Like, honestly. But yeah, as far as like religion doing super weird things in the world, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, there's some weird theories about the Pope. I have no idea. But it's just ancient aliens. Yeah, probably. Oh yeah, no, that probably the weirdest theory that I've heard is that Enoch built the pyramids, and that he met with and helped aliens. So that's a theory. We're dealing with the moral education here. That we are. Bro, get the rights of that phrase immediately. Man, that's all domain, dude. He's a boss. I just hope that I'm reborn. I just hope that I am reborn when I die, because I don't want it to just end. That sounds boring, or like going to hell. That does not sound like that nice either. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I mean, I would choose to live again or live on after death. I think death, I don't know. Death, it's both a combination of, when thinking that after that you just cease to exist, it's both peaceful and boring. Shells, wow, it has been a minute. Glad you're here. Good to see you. Oh, I got plenty more. Better. Just be patient. Hey, I'm looking forward to it. Send me all those songs. Send me that good stuff. I don't think Domain raps. I don't know. He could, but he sent me some rap. I totally buy that shirt. No, I write. Dope. I have missed you guys so much, for real. Hey, man. Shells, you have been missed as well. If you already answered, you can skip. But what did you take away and think about Joker movie? Oh, man. All right. Yo, heads up to everybody on here. I'm starting a podcast, and it will be out in like a month. And already have a couple episodes going. But something that I'm going to do on the podcast that I haven't done on my channel is review things in pop culture, like movies and like TV shows that I watch, but how they relate into philosophy and into my deeper thoughts and into the different things that I talk about on this channel. So I'm going to do a whole podcast on the Joker movie and Lucifer, and talking about, is there such thing as pure evil? And so heads up for that. But loved the Joker movie. Absolute masterpiece. Was not what I was expecting, which I kind of like, but it kind of disappointed me. So honestly, well, I'm not going to ruin the movie because I could talk about the movie a lot, but I thought that at the end of the movie, I was going to feel sympathy. No, I thought at the end of the movie, I was going to like have feel some sort of connection with the Joker, that it's like, oh, like I totally and completely understand him, and like I feel his pain like it's mine. I didn't get that at all, because I don't have that disorder that he has. And so there was no way that they could have done that too. But the way that they showed it, to where he came into that belief, for people who haven't seen the movie, I'm not going to give it away. But he came into a specific belief at the end of the movie. That is what turned him into the Joker. And just seeing that blew my fucking mind. And I was like, the Joker is like, he's no longer the supervillain. They have made him into a human being. And it's incredible. And so good, man. I mean, the acting was phenomenal. The script was phenomenal. But the whole thing, honestly, was like, it was just pure insanity. And part of me loved it, and part of me was like, I always like films that at the end of it, like, I don't care what's in the film. I don't care how bad it is. If there's some sort of redemption at the end of it, then I'm in, I'm with it. Like, I'm into it. The thing that I didn't like about the Joker is at the end of it, it was like, oh, okay, there's the Joker, but there was absolutely no redemption, no nothing. And so I was like, well, yep, there's the Joker, and hell of a movie, but I'm like, geez, what am I supposed to do after that? like there was no, yeah. So, oh wow, lots of stuff. Here's a good conspiracy. We are one, a God, and every life. Yeah, no, that's a good conspiracy. That's a new age conspiracy. Pretty sure we're about as sick and tired of fellas saying that everything they don't like is because the devil's work and not getting right with you. Yeah, I hate that. And we are with people saying every problem. Yeah. What up, man? Backwards Panda. Have you seen Da Vinci Code? I have not. Is it cool if I ask you something? Ask me anything, man. Experience for us to evolve into final form. Yeah. I've had a mini breakdown and don't know if I would consider myself Christian anymore. Really? Shells. What happened? Now I'm interested. I mean, I was always interested, but this is my cup of tea. That podcast sounds dope. Excited for that. Yeah. No, I shortened everything up in my videos on YouTube, but I'm just going to like let it all loose on the podcast. So I'm excited for it. I recorded an episode today, recorded an intro yesterday, and I'm going to have so it's going to be good. I'll make a video about it announcing all of it, but I'm excited for it. I'll definitely be listening to the podcast when they start up. Got lost in this so much that my vegetables in the microwave got 9.5 minutes. I forgot how intriguing and mentally challenging your streams are. That is phenomenal. Oh. Sorry you burnt your food, but I love stuff like that. That's just, you're awesome. That's good stuff. Couldn't agree more. Was a masterpiece. Yes, it was. Hell yeah on the podcast idea. Don't forget YouTube copy for red users. Gotcha. Lexi Gray, hey, how's it going? Do you have IG? Yes, I do. Nate.alger. I'll type it in the chat. Until the end, you sympathize. Yeah. But at the end, oh, damn it. Where'd it go? But at the end, they make you remember he is sick. But until that point, you forget. That is the magic. Yeah. No, agree. Totally agree. I got to hear what happened. If the devil punishes the bad, what does that make good or bad? If the devil punishes the bad, what does that make good or bad? Hey, that's an excellent question, because the reality is the devil, look, if we're supposed to get back to our true nature, our true self, and like part of our purpose is finding who we are. I think who we are is who we've always been. It's just learning to accept that person. And the interesting thing about the devil is who he's always been, who he was created to be, was an angel, was the right-hand man of God. And then he chose differently. So wouldn't that mean, since angels do have free will, because in the Bible, it says they chose to go against God, wouldn't that mean for fallen angels, and Lucifer included, that even they still have a chance to be saved? Just a thought. To be honest, something I am really tired of hearing. God only gives the hardest battles to his strongest warriors. Said in various ways, but basically it's not. Yep. I then ask, why do people kill themselves then? Yeah. Yeah. No. And that's where it's like, well, I guess I gave him too much weight. It's like, dude. Yeah, I don't think that. I don't really, and I get the answer, it's the devil's work. Yeah. Yeah, there's so much messed up with that whole thing. I'm right there with you. I agree with you. The Joker was never meant to be redeemable. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that movie was supposed to be redeemable. I'm saying it was a masterpiece, but I'm just saying, like, man, like, it was a masterpiece. I don't know if I would buy the movie. I don't even know if I'm going to watch it again. But was it absolutely fucking incredible? Yeah. Julie, I wrote about that last night. Nice coincidence. I needed someone like you with your mind and interpretation of things. I think you analyzing and just discussing films is a match made in heaven. Hell yeah, Simba. Well, I'm excited to release this podcast because it's going to be dope. Within a month, my aunt and her daughter got diagnosed with cancer. Within 3 weeks, my aunt, what? Oh my God. I'm really sorry to hear that, Shells. What kind of loving God allows that to happen? What's the fucking point, you know? Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't get it. Yeah, that's a serious question to be had. That's a question that I can't answer. That's really rough. I'm really sorry to hear that. But man, I don't know which is the right term, empathize or sympathize with you. But Nate, I finally dropped my first little intro song on SoundCloud. Yo, send me a link. I need to hear that. Wouldn't that mean too that God has free will and that He could abandon us? Yeah, but if God is love, then He wouldn't, because true love would never do that. If God is true love, what if He doesn't want to be God anymore and He's just so determined? Just like robots can make. Now, see, I mean, then you're taking God and you're making Him into a human. And if God is God, then He's not human. I feel like everything is a test in life, and some of it will punish right to the edge. I feel like everything is a test in life, and some of it will push right to the edge. The idea is to keep the faith and find your way to God. Don't ever give up. Find your personal relationship with God. Yeah, but I think a personal relationship looks different. Like for me, I am like, call me crazy. I made a video about it. I'm looking for a literal relationship. Like if God exists, like an actual relationship, not just this fancy theology and philosophy of like, oh, I think I hear God, but it's really just your conscience speaking and you're hearing what you want to hear. I'm like, no, if relationship with God is the way to go, then I'm all for it. But that takes an actual relationship. Like I don't want to hear me speak. Like, I mean, enough Christians do that as is, hearing themselves and what they want to hear and then calling it God. If God's real, that's an insult to God. And, if He's not real, then there's no way to convince anyone otherwise because they're just listening to their conscience and they're saying, yeah, this is God. It's not. And, how do you disprove that? If somebody is in that firm mindset and belief is drilled into their head, there's no getting around it. It's just sad. But anyway. I would love to love God, but damn, He made it hard. Well, love was never supposed to be easy. Where did that go? Shit, death is the only true purpose of life. So yeah, we die. Cheer up, sister. I don't know if death is the purpose of life. I think dying to self is so that you can be selfless, but I don't think actual physical death is the purpose to life. Problem is some people have tested massively harder than others. Do you believe that Greek gods existed? So I've thought about this because I don't know. And I say that just because I know the Bible best. And this is why I'm saying this. Not best like I know the Bible better than everyone else, but I'm saying compared to other religions like because I know the Bible more than I know other religions. This is why I say this, is that Psalm says God is the God of gods. So there are other gods. Like even the Bible says that. Like, but it says that God is the God of gods. You know, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, yada yada, all that good stuff. So could those other gods be the Greek gods? Possibly. I mean, who knows? I don't, just like the meme said, what are we pretending we know today? You know, so you know, if the supernatural world exists and God exists, then I'm sure it wouldn't surprise me if some of those gods did as well. There's an interesting theological question that might dip into philosophy. Love it. Is suicide murder? No. Or would God understand the situation? Also, technically, martyrdom is suicide. Yes. So, is suicide murder? No. Would God understand the situation? I think if he's real, yes. Also, technically, martyrdom is suicide. No. Martyrdom. So I have a different view on these things. I've thought about these things a while. So I think martyrdom is like you actually having value and honor for yourself. Suicide, there's self-hatred involved. But martyrdom is you giving your life. Suicide is suicide is taking your life. Martyrdom is giving your life. So I think there's definitely a difference between the two. And I think suicide, would God understand the situation? Yes. Because if you truly saw who you were, if you let yourself see yourself and love yourself, then you wouldn't want to commit suicide. So I think God would understand that situation. So yeah, I mean, it's great questions to ask, but I've thought about those a lot. Being someone who's dealt with suicidal thoughts for had suicidal thoughts for many years, and but I think that there is. So this is a weird thought and a weird concept, but I think the people that are suicidal or have suicidal thoughts, there's also, I know this is weird, hang in there with me, a gift in them of martyrdom that wants to shine, but it's coming out negatively through suicidal thoughts. So for me, if there was a cause that I could literally give my life to, I would do it. Now it would have to be a crazy, like insane, like very good cause that I would have to very much believe in, but I would absolutely do it. And so that's just my thought and my thinking. That's just kind of like my thinking, to where like people get depressed, but it's because they have a gift of contemplation and meditation. And so it's just coming out, that gift that they have is coming out negatively. So those are my thoughts on that. I'm leaving this super vague to not spoil, but do you think Joker killed that one person after person was scared to see him? It was left up to interpret. Yeah, I totally think he killed him. 100% killed her. The person. Yeah. Every trust itself, if you didn't. God does make it really hard, every test, if he is real. Yeah. Just remember, the judgment day will come when Don God runs out of shit to watch on TV and is too lazy to go microwave a new bag of popcorn. In the meanwhile, you're on your own side. Oh, man. I'll see you next time, Nate. Eric, man, send me that link. Baseball is calling. I'll send you the link for sure. All right, man. Peace. That thought means that Jesus was suicidal, though he did not. Well, life it's a trip with an already known end, death. Yeah. From the first second to the last, it's 100% sure you will die. Yes. So yeah, death is the only true purpose. I wouldn't say death is the only true purpose. I'd say death is the only true destination. Everything else is just to make your trip fun. Yeah, sure. But like I said, it's the destination. But what's the purpose of the journey? Every journey has a purpose. And I don't think it's just to get to the end. And if that were the case, then the people that committed suicide would be heroes. According to the Bible, though, no matter the reason, God won't forgive suicide. That's according to the Bible. Where is that in the Bible? Brilliant point about suicidal thoughts and suppressed martyrdom. Very interesting. Timothy, well, thank you. Shellfish 2, Abomination, gets tricky. Jamie Amber, how's it going? Heard this line some time ago and I liked it. It was a person's conversations to God, and it went, when I leave this earth, I know something to be true. The one apologizing should not be me. When I leave this earth, I know something to be true. The one apologizing should not be me to you. Interesting. That I'll have to think about that a bit more. Lone Ghost, nothingness awaits me. Don't worry. What's up? What up, Jess? Holy Mother of God. Hypothetically, you are here. Hopefully you don't disappear, or hopefully your Wi-Fi doesn't cut out or something. Jess, everybody, Jess is here. It's okay. It's official. We're having Friday Night Live. I have my own idea, but interested in hearing your take on it. What makes people not just afraid of death, but being in environments where they're confronted with dead people? What makes people not just afraid of death, but being in environments where they're confronted with dead people? I'm going to be honest with you, Blackbirds. I have not met anyone like that, nor am I like that. Call me super crazy. I don't know. But like in like nursing homes and like hospitals and funeral homes, I have very weirdly and oddly, I all the time get this just feel peace there. And I think it's because I know death is the end, and death is like something that happens in those places a lot. But yeah, I don't have a take on it because I haven't talked to anybody. Not that I bring up in conversation, hey, are you afraid of dead people? I don't think that's something, even with me, that comes up in conversation a lot. But yeah, I don't feel that way. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because I've been friends with a lot of Christians that they're like, I'm not afraid of death. So they don't talk about it. But being in environments where we're confronted with dead people, literal dead people. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on that. Not heroes per se, more like hackers found the shortcut. Oh man. Oh, I hope you're joking. In life, do we as individuals decide what our purpose will be? I am a essentialist, philosophically speaking. Soren Kierkegaard is an existentialist. Basically, I mean, I'm sure all of you are familiar with the terms. Basically being that you decide what your purpose is, you decide who you want to be, you decide this, you decide that, la da 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 da. Yes, to an extent, but essentialism says that there was things that you are born with, like my family, my mom, my dad, their mom, their dad, very, very musical family. So I can decide not to be musical, but I am musical. Like I can decide to not have anything to do with music, but I am musical, and I am, musically oriented. So there's that essence about me. So that's Plato's Essentialism says that you are born with some essence, and those essence has to do with your purpose. Now I find that the things that I was born with, the gifts that come natural to me are I do like following those and considering, even though my purpose is who I am, but following that and considering that along that journey to death, per se, like me and Demaim have been talking about, that it's what you will do with who you are. It's how you will share who you are with the world. And so I think you can decide if you want. You can be an essentialist all you want, but for me, I find a lot more fulfillment in doing the things that are essential to me, and the things that I was just born with, and the things that come naturally to me. So yeah, I do not fear death. I had been dead for billions and billions of years before I was born, and had not suffered the slightest inconvenience from it. Mark Twain. Hell yeah, it's a good quote. People have been wrestling for hundreds of years with notes on the text. More of an art, not just logic. I have to look it up and send it to you. All right. In my opinion, eternity awaits us in the end, and it's either heaven or hell. Oh, I wonder if you're a Christian of, traditional views or not. In my opinion, eternity awaits in us either heaven or hell. So my problem with that, Michael, is that does not sound like a loving God that would send his children to hell that had a chance, or they just didn't know. They weren't shown the truth. So yeah. I got super good Wi-Fi, so I'll be here. How is everyone? Well, that's amazing. I am really glad that you got super good Wi-Fi, and that you will be here the whole time. Sweet. I'm jealous. I'm watching the whole stream on data. Yo, you must have that unlimited plan, though. Bad joke ain't such a thing. Yeah, not a great joke. But I still laughed. It's so good. If Greek gods exist, then God of War, is the most sinful object to ever exist. Yeah. Your last video made me think a lot, wondering if the way we interpret salvation and the search for it is ultimately going to lead us back to the Christian faith. Just one that's subjective. Maybe, possibly, I don't know. I have no idea. But by what the Bible says, even like die-hard atheists and atheists that are listening to this and that are on this live stream, you can correct me if I'm wrong or think differently or whatever. It's fine. But by that logic in that video that I put out on salvation, by me basically deconstructing that and looking at the biblical text and all of that, atheists, die-hard atheists that are like, I do not believe in God. And God knows that, obviously, if he exists. When they die, if God reveals himself, shows himself, and he says, this is the truth, this is who I am, this is how you were created, la da 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 da, then they will still have a choice. And if they choose him, because I don't think free will just goes away when you die, then, if there is an afterlife, that is, then an atheist can be saved. And atheists typically, unless they're a diehard atheist, again, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. From what I gather, though, search out truth, want to know truth. I mean, it's part of the reason why they're atheists, because they're like, well, there's not much truth in all this religious bullshit. So I guess, I want to believe the truth. I think every atheist wouldn't argue with me on that. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but want to believe truth. And so if God is the truth, then they're on the right path. They're exactly where they need to be. So it just, my thoughts. Man, I'm so behind. Sorry, guys. Did I hear a new track at the end of that video? Nope, that was Morning Light. It says not to be overly wicked, neither a fool. Why should I die before your time? There's more I'm looking up. Fortnite, I'm an atheist, but I believe in God. So you're not an atheist. Man, I am way behind. Sorry, guys. Realize, realize, realize. Nice. I like it. I know 100% there is a God. How do you know 100% there is a God? The stream is just that good. Hell yeah, man. So glad you like this stream that much, dude. Love it. I punched a nun once. Yeah, I don't know. I have a question. If God is real, why does he let young children die of horrible diseases and illness? Dude, that's a question to ask God. If that's not a question to ask. Obviously a question to ask God if he would, show himself to you. But dude, that's a question that I have no idea how to answer. It's just it's very unfortunate. And honestly, like, you could make the argument, or I guess people could make the argument, like, let young children die of horrible diseases and illness. Also, like, we do that. Like, we let young children die of diseases and illnesses. Like, speaking from someone who has chronic Lyme disease and in a couple months won't be able to afford won't be able to pay medical bills, and so I'm not going to be able to afford medication, so I'm going to start going back on my health. Like, obviously, there's a bunch of rich people out there that could make donations to me, but are they going to do it? No. And I'm not mad about it. But the reality is, if we as a human society, worldwide culture, wanted to save those children that were dying in horrible and disease, illness, and all that, we could. But do we? No. Have you read Peter Rollins? No, I have not. I think there might be a lot of synergy between your questions and some of his topics. How can I ask him, though? People try prayer, so if you haven't tried that, see if that works. What are your thoughts on Edgar Casey? Have you asked me about him before? I don't know if you have, but God doesn't intervene in human will. Well, if you believe in God, how do you explain Jesus? I will sell everything I own. What is happening? Atheist or religious we are all cursed to know belief. As long as we have ego, TK belief, to know belief, as long as we have ego, it's the drive that keeps us going. It's God or good. It's food, weed, friendship, death. We all have to be life, believe. The secret to happiness is to know. What is this TK? To know? Find out what you believe in fast. My baby's dad held a gun to my head. I thought to myself and prayed, saying, God, I cannot leave my daughter with him. Please do whatever you need to remove from the situation. And well, by no means am I saying he killed my baby dad, but he shot himself. Just do whatever you need to do to remove me from the situation. And well, by no means am I saying he killed my baby dad, but he shot himself. That's terrible. Why does that story tell you that God's real? I know it's full off topic, but do you bite your nails? It's so hard to stop it. Yeah, no, I bite my nails all the freaking time. I'm really bad about it. God ain't perfect because it's the archetypal sci-fi protagonist before such things existed in pop culture. He's different enough to fancy our imaginations, yet similar enough to feel as if he's a human. That gets into the whole the man with 1,000 faces thing. That's the only reason I have peace with it. Well, if God existed and he intervened in that situation, wouldn't a better outcome have been for all of you to live? I mean, if you run out of beds, I will sell everything I own. Oh, okay. You are too kind. You are too kind, Jess. This is why I appreciate you. Though God would be a rather crummy human, though. I mean, apparently he wasn't, though. Jesus, you know, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. Jesus is the Father, 3 in 1, that whole thing. I call upon him and he followed through. So God killed your dad. Is that what you're telling me? Check out some people who have died. Check out some people who have died and went to heaven and hell. A lot have. Yeah, no, I've watched all those videos, seen all those things. I died and went to heaven, and hell's video is worth a watch. Yeah, kind of. I have a lot of my own thoughts on those things, and through other things that I've been studying, it's like, if the astral plane, whatever you want to call it, is real. I've been reading Robert Monroe's books, and if that's all real, then there is a plane of existence where the thoughts that you have become life. So if they went to hell, like hell can be in your own head. I mean, honestly. And so if they went to those planes of existence in the astral place, then that's where they were. They weren't in hell. They created that place out of their head. Because I've heard so many stories of people that went to hell, but they all look different. All of them. So where's the similarities? Free will? Okay. Tortured by the fact that we can't answer all these complex questions that we desperately want to know. I don't know. I get what you're saying. Yes, it does seem like torture, but I mean, I don't know. I think it's part of the I think it's part of the fun, honestly. It's the journey that counts. God allows things to happen. I don't know, man. What in the wow? Or just hallucinations, the releases. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to skip a lot of these comments because I'm loving this. This is great. Those experiences, like most hallucinations, are real to those people. Yep, but it's 100% subjective experience. And for me to believe in God, I need experiences that aren't purely subjective. Exactly. That aren't purely subjective. Even though an experience with God, for me, it has to be even if it's subjective, it has to be externally subjective. So a lot of people claim to have experience with God, but it is internally subjective. No, that doesn't cut it. Obviously, the thing that would be a externally objective experience with God. That's if God exists. That's the hope. But yeah. What if we are all God? Dun 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 dun. Hey, I mean that's what New Agers believe. All we are God. All is one. I think that's a dangerous game to play, personally, but if there was a matriarchal figure in heaven that never gets mentioned because and she's related to God, that leaves you to wonder, was the initial conception of Jesus the result of incest? What? And I do think, personally, and I talked about this, I'm not sure which video I talked about it on, but one of God's names can be interpreted of God of many breasts. You know, God, if he is God, he doesn't have a gender. He's not male or female. And I think the Holy Spirit, you know, the Godhead 3 in 1, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, I think the Holy Spirit is a female of female type. What Adam? Razor 988, you okay? I'm good. How you doing? I'm all right. For instance, I was a drug addict and I was visited by someone who was under the influence of a Ouija board, and he asked me if I wanted to join him. I said no. Well, that's good. Name calling, asking people for beef, etc. I think I've touched on this before, but I've always thought is the Holy Spirit is a female entity. Yeah. What would happen if God would put Satan in charge? Well, have you seen the show Lucifer? I love that show. I binged all 4 seasons. Can't wait for the 5th. He would just kill and burn everybody, then just sit and there and be bored. Just kill and burn everybody. I mean, I don't think so. I honestly don't. The near-death experience are all proven that they are just your brain releasing DMT in your body, and that is the light tunnel. Anyone who ever had a DMT trip will tell you. But Demame, you do believe in the afterlife, or you do not? Yeah, I guess believe that we live on after we die, correct? Because of the first law of thermodynamics. Creepy. I just typed that. We do that a lot. Just typed what? Oh, yeah. Yep. Female entity. But Nate, I wanted to ask you, if God truly exists, then do you think he can be a loving God and a judgmental God at the same time? No, absolutely not. I feel like the Bible contradicts itself, in my opinion. I don't actually know. I don't know about that last part. The Bible does contradict itself a lot. But I think there's a purpose in contradiction. I'm not saying the Bible is absolutely right in all of its contradictions, but I think there's a purpose in contradiction. Like if you never experienced pain, then you wouldn't know joy. You know, if you never like if you always experience joy, then joy wouldn't even be a concept. So it's the same thing with opposites. If everything was in black and white all the time, we wouldn't have any idea what color was. We wouldn't miss it. We wouldn't want things to be colorful or whatever. So different contradictions in the Bible. I mean, we contradict ourselves all the freaking time, like as humans. So I don't know. There's certain contradictions that make sense. Obviously, there are some in the Bible that don't make any sense. Like, why would God kill women and children and then say, I'm a God of love? Doesn't make sense. But with the whole loving and mercy thing, like it does say in the New Testament, mercy triumphs over judgment. And so I had a nice heated discussion with my mom the other night about heaven and hell. And she was talking about judgment. And I said, well, mercy triumphs over judgments. Do you believe that? She said, yeah. So it was a very good and interesting conversation. But no, I don't think they can be. I don't think God can be both loving and judgmental in a negative sense all at the same time. I think if he's judgmental, his judgment looks like mercy and forgiveness, not the judgment that we picture. What's DMT? Good drug. Science is a sin because it's a kill. It's unforgivable because it's a sin you do not confess. That is the theory, at least. Wait, what? Where is that theory? But what problems in your mind would keep race relations, particularly in the United States, from improving? Well, for one, pride. For two, listening. And three, understanding. Because everybody wants to think that they got it all together and that they know the problems and that they're like, these are the problems that need fixed and I'm right, you're wrong, da 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 da. Nobody wants to listen to one another. And if we don't learn to listen to one another and to learn each other's stories, or listening was third. But anyway, if we don't learn to listen to each other's stories and learn each other's cultures and learn each other's values, then we're never going to be accepting towards it. And that takes humility. Number three. And I mean, I've said this on here a million times. I think, the one thing among many things that could improve humanity is humility. But we're never going to get over these problems. What are the problems in your mind for improving? Basically, I think the biggest thing is listening. And we can't listen because we got too much pride, and we can't listen because we think humility is weakness in the U.S., as well as other places in the world. But if we would just learn to listen to other people's stories and understanding, that was the other thing, like learn to understand each other, and that we don't have to agree to get along. Like, I mean, I feel like it's all common sense, but it just sucks that people are filled with so much pride when talking about race and differences in race and stuff like that, that it's just like, nah, this is who you guys are. This is who I am. We got it right. This is always going to be a deal. You guys are always going to be like this. It's just like, it's just bullshit. New here, creative closet design. That's what's up. But have you ever had an out-of-body or near-death experience? You may have said this, but I just signed on. I have not personally. I've had many lucid dreaming experiences, but I haven't had a out-of-body experience yet. Working on that. Do you think that the Old Testament is meant to be looked at differently than the New Testament? 10,000% yes. Yeah, but what I mean is that in some parts of the Bible, it talks about how God is judgmental God and a jealous God. Yeah, but that word jealous is misinterpreted. That's missing. If you look at the actual word in Greek, it's not jealous on God, but at the same time, it talks about how forgiving, loving God is. To be, you can't. Yeah, I completely get what you're saying. Contradictions are difficult, to say the least. But I feel like sum that up. But if you're so low, you can be both. I agree, Jess. But like you said, the Bible says God is a jealous God. Jealousy doesn't come from love, and I think love, insert thing, created the universe. Yeah, but like I said, that word jealous, when you look up that verse in particular and look at that word, it doesn't mean jealous. Like, translators really screw that one up. I think we aren't supposed to question God, because then we will see he is flawed and he is no longer the idea of the divine. That's a interesting thought. And God forgets you only if you confess and show remorse. You can't do that death. I think people knew this. You have to be sorry for using free will. Man, I'm not following your logic in your past couple of things that you said. I'm not following it. The meme. But by questioning God and realizing he's flawed, doesn't that only make him more relatable and endearing? You might have a point. I myself would say that the generic happenstances of your birth that are beginning aren't things to take much pride in. But we as species have shown ourselves to have fragile egos. Yep, that's the truth. Exactly. It has no logic. That is God. You got it. Now you just got me even more confused. Oh, man. Not to say I've felt so weird accepting all the responsibility and that I've never seen a person do it in my life. More human. I could, I guess, but what makes us different from him? So why should I serve a being that screws up just like I do? Yeah. I see the logic in that. Yeah, Demame, I get that God and faith in God, it has no logic or reason. But I'm not understanding your logic, because I know the past couple, it was a progression of thought, and I just wasn't following it at all. I can translate from what D said on suicide. Suicide is murder. Murder is sin. If the last thing you do is a sin, you don't have time to confess. See, I don't agree. See, this is the thing. Okay, I get it now. This is the thing. If you look at sin as right and wrong, if you look at sin as something of morality, you have the concept of sin completely wrong. Sin is not about what you do. It's about your heart's intent. So you can do something that would look completely wrong, but your heart, if your heart is in the right place, and suicide happens in a moment. That's literally the logic of that. If God throws you in hell for committing suicide, is like God looking at you and saying, your whole life you've been pretty good, but I'm going to judge you for eternity based on one moment, based on one mistake that you had. And I'm just like, even the logic of a loving God, that doesn't make any sense to me. And that's something that me and my dad agree on, or that's a theology me and my dad agree on. Turns out baseball was canceled, and I was the only one who didn't know. Oh, man. So if you kill someone who is literally about to kill you, that's a forgivable murder? I'm confused. Are you saying self-defense is a sin? But even if there's an afterlife, without your physical vocal cords, can you communicate? Yes. You forget that this is not our point of view. It's the religious point of view, and that is why God depicted by Bible has no logic. Yeah, no, okay. I agree with you on that. 100%, Demain. I'm with you now. Do you see a difference between environmentalism and conservatism? Yes. Oh, conservationism. And if so, what would you classify yourself as? Also, meant to type genetic in the last comment, autocorrects being asked. Yo, for real, I don't know if you are an Apple user, but the Apple autocorrect thing from this latest update has gotten just insane, and I hate it. Like, I'm just like misspelling everything, and just my sentences don't make sense, and I'm like, this is so dumb. Anyway, do you see a difference between environmentalism and conservationism? Yes, I do. And I haven't done in-depth studies on both of these, but I'm just going by the actual definitions of the word environmentalism versus conserving the earth and versus doing things that are better for the earth. Personally, I don't see a problem with either. I mean, obviously, I don't see a problem with either of those, but I think there's a healthy balance between the two. Because environmentalism, if I'm right in assuming this, is like still progressing in building or in I guess building is the only way that building more structure from human hands, but environmental friendly. Conservatism is like, conservations or just like conserving the earth. I would say there's a healthy balance between the two, and you need to know, like, the whole thing that's happening in Hawaii with the telescope and stuff like that. Like, dude, all right, the U.S. needs to like stop that. Like, that's insane. But I do think that there is a healthy, like, obviously that you could say that they are environmentalists. That it's like, oh, we're studying if this is for science, this is to better us. Okay, cool. But like, you realize where you're building right now, and so conservation is wow, I can't even say that word. Or like, yeah, don't build here because this is like our holy ground. I just think it's like, I think there needs to be a healthy balance between the two. I'm agreeing that momentarily actions are not necessarily wrong. Hell yeah. But why would God let you take your life in the first place? Why let a person in? Well, then you got free will. So there's that. Your guilt is your own hell. Absolutely. Forgiveness is your heaven. Absolutely. Damn it, God. Android win. Yeah, Android. Shells. I'll see y'all next time. All right. See you next Friday, Shells. Hope things get better for you. Thinking about you. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Peace. Is suicide self-defense because you killed the person who was trying to kill? I think that's a sick joke. Oh, man. Damame, I have I Forgive You tattooed across my chest. My most self-influential tattoo, ever changing and reminding me to be humble. I like it. Love it. Love that tattoo. Not that I've seen it. So, damn it. I didn't mean to hide your comment. Yeah, I was like, why was the comment hidden? He said, damn it, and then got... That's gross. Yeah. I have, if you can make it through the night, there is a brighter day on my arm, but that does not mean I am not haunted in you by doubt from time to time. I like these tattoos. Makes me want to get a tattoo, but guess you can't because of chronic illness. Oh, boy. All right, guys, I'm going to give it about 5 more minutes, then I'm going to hop off here. 5 more minutes. Let's wrap this up. What? Why? Jess, you hopped on late. Then I'm going to DM you the link to my intros. Nice. Also have another song ready. Just have to record it. This song I just uploaded was recorded on my phone with a mic of headphones and edited on my, I'm guessing, laptop. Off topic, but the chat is kind of silent. Have you ever heard Queen of the Stone Age? I have not. I'll tattoo you. Yep, I do. Really? I mean, why can't you get a tattoo? Because of a lot of different stuff. You're not, Lyme is kind of like an autoimmune disease. You're not supposed to get tattoos when you got an autoimmune disease. So gotta smoke a big fatty together, man, to help you with chronic problem. Hey, man, I do it with, let's make it happen. And by fatty, I'll smoke a, yeah, why not? Fuck it. So there's a conflict between two ideas. Let the past die and start from nothing and continue maintaining things as is with incremental change. What's your opinion of these two ideas? Let the past die and start from nothing and continue maintaining that as is with incremental change. What's your opinion on these two ideas? Let the past die, start from nothing, and continue maintaining things as is with incremental change. I think it depends on what you're letting die or what you're wanting to maintain. Because if something isn't working out, then let it die. But if something is working, then maintain it. But obviously, it won't be perfect, so you'll have to make those incremental changes. I think it totally depends on the situation. I don't think either or is better than the other, but it completely depends on the situation. Wim Hof says you can cure immune disease. Yeah. For sure. I know. I'm 100% there too. I believe that it can be cured. But it takes years. It's not, months. Balance. Move as you have nothing but with the memory of the past to guide you. Yes. Life's secret is balance. That's one of the secrets. Wim Hof says that there are no systems that can't get into. It's true. You've been doing your Wim Hof research. I like it. Yeah, I'm with you. I'd suggest you try to listen to them, to the earliest records from raw rock to the latest to melodic piano keyboard. Huh. All right. Their guitar work is amazing. Then put our society, U.S. in scenario. Then what would you think? Oh, man. If our society, the U.S., was in the scenario, first I would let it die. I need to go back. Let the past die and start from nothing. First, I would let it die to a point, and then once I get to the bare minimum, I think I would maintain and add on incrementally the society. Because I do think there are a lot of things in our society that need to die, but I do think this generation and within the last 20 years now, there have been plenty of really good things. And so I wouldn't want everything to die, but I do think a lot of it does need to die. And then we start from, what is our foundation? What are we building upon? Who are we going to decide to be? And then maintain that. And then as we're ready, build on that. So that's what I would do. And I'm not going to run for office because that, who knows? Balance your heart. Try to be in the moment without being affected by it. Be like water, my friend, shapeless. Yes. Bruce Lee. That's what's up. Lexi Gray, you're back, and I'm giving this like 2 more minutes, then I'm gonna go. That is why you have to meditate. It helps a lot of your change perspective. Meditate every day, pretty much every day. It's on SoundCloud. I'm able to put links here by chance. Like as a comment. Yeah, go for it. I think New Age has distorted what meditation is, though. Yep, I agree. I've come to these countries without ever sitting Indian style inside. Yeah. SSS. So many things running through my head. Before you go, what advice can you give someone trying to stay sober? Don't do it alone. Don't ever do it alone. If you are struggling with an addiction, get someone to be accountable to, and don't do it alone. Well, first you got to want help. If you don't want help, you're not going to change. But if you're getting help and you want help, don't do it alone. Don't do it by yourself. That's what I'd say. Reach out to people, the people that care about you. And those people that care about you are the people that probably annoy you the most. Honestly. Thanks for taking your time to shoot the breeze with us. We'll see you later and look forward to the future podcasts and other videos. See you, Nate. All right, man. Peace out. And dig deep inside you to find the real you, the kid that does not know fear. Hell yeah. I'm with all that, Domain. That's good stuff. Shaler, do something. Well, I did it with myself. Hey, man, some people can. Some people can't. So, all right, guys, that is it for tonight's live stream. It picked up a bit there, which was amazing. Thank you all so friggin' much. I mean, I really look forward to these lives, and you all are amazing. So, like I said, in case you didn't hear when I mentioned it, I have a podcast coming out. And so be on the lookout for that. More videos to come. And, love it when you guys comment on my videos and share your thoughts. You always inspire me, especially in these videos and these lives, to make new videos, to share new thoughts. I think I got a couple cool videos coming out of this live stream. So, yeah. So you guys are the best, the Misfit family. I forget what the meme said one week, like right after we got off. Like, we're alone and we don't belong and nobody wants us or something like that. We are the misfits. I don't know. It was hilarious. Loved it. But yeah, guys, you're amazing. I'll see you next week, and be on the lookout because I got a whole lot of stuff coming your way. Yeah. Until then, peace out.